Hey, good morning. So today we are going to move on to the next topic in math. I know that we still need practice with addition, with your grouping, and subtraction, but because of our shortened school year and our shortened school day, um, I kind of need to touch on a lot of things so that at least there's some exposure. Um, to the students for things that we would have gotten had we been in the classroom. And actually, we would have gotten a lot more than what we can get with the amount of time that we have for the school day now. So, anyway, we are going to move on to topic 12. Parents, I would encourage you to keep practicing the addition and the subtraction with your child at home. It's never going to hurt them. It's just going to help them and make them a little bit stronger in math. And of course, their next year's teacher is going to understand because their students are going to be in the same situation as we are. So, anyway, we are moving on to something a little bit easier. These math lessons will not take as long, so that will free up some time for you to practice on some of the other things that we have worked on as well. But today we're going to start topic 12, and topic 12 works with measurements. So if you will look in your math bag and take out your lesson 12-1 paper for today, then we will go ahead and get started. So we are going to be today comparing and ordering by length. Okay, so that means we're going to look at items, we're going to compare them to see who's the longest, or what's the longest, what's the shortest, what's in the middle. We may put them in order from the longest to the shortest. We may put them in order from the shortest to the longest. So you'll need to make sure that you read carefully the directions each time you switch from one section to the next to make sure that they're not changing it up on you. Okay. So today, let's look at our little green talk bubble right here. And I think for a lot of this, I can just keep the paper close, and that way you can really, truly see what I'm talking about. And let's look at that green speech bubble at the top. It says, can you put these objects in order from longest to shortest? How can you tell if one object is longer than another object? Okay, so on your paper, we have 3 items. We have a pencil, a paintbrush, and a marker. Almost called that a crayon. Had to turn around and see. But we have a pencil, a paintbrush, and a marker. So if we wanted to put those items in order, now this time they're going to have us going from longest to shortest. Okay, and there's nothing in the middle right here, but there will be an answer here. Okay, so if we look at these 3 items, which one of those items is the longest? Okay, so if you said pencil, that's correct. And pencil would be written right here in this box. I'm going to lay mine down and I'm going to write it for you so that you can see where to have that answer. So we would put just the word pencil. And parents, please don't worry and think that everything has to be spelled 100% correctly. They're first graders. As long as they're stretching it out and they're writing sounds, I'm okay with that. If they were sitting in the classroom, I would not tell them how to spell everything. So I don't certainly expect you to do that either. So, okay. So we've written pencil here because it is our longest. Okay. So that leaves us the paintbrush and the marker. And when we look at those two, they're closer in length than what the pencil was. So we have to make sure we look closely. Okay. So which one of these would be the shortest, the paintbrush or the marker? Okay. All right, so if you chose paintbrush, you're correct. The paintbrush would be the shortest, so I'm going to write paintbrush in that bottom box. Okay, so right now your paper should look like this. And then that leaves us one thing to put in the middle, and that would be the marker. So now we compared, we looked at them to see, and we ordered them in order from the longest to the shortest. So we start out with the pencil, then the marker, and then the paintbrush. Okay, all right, let's turn to the next page. And let's look at our little green boxes here. Okay, so in the first one it says, you can put the worms in order by length. So we have a red worm, a yellow worm, and a blue worm. Okay. So we're going to put them in order by length, but right now when I just read that box, I don't know. Do they want me to put them in order from longest to shortest or shortest to longest? So we've got to continue reading to see. It says the yellow worm is longer than the red worm and the blue worm. Okay, so they've made a note that that yellow one is the longest. The yellow worm is the longest. Okay, so the next box says the red worm is shorter than the blue worm. So they put our longest one at the top, which is our yellow one, and then they decided that the red worm is shorter than the blue worm. Okay, so the red worm is the shortest. Okay, so now the worms are in order from longest with the yellow, then the blue, down to the shortest, which is the red. Okay, I told you this was going to be really easy. Okay, so it says, do you understand? Show me. It says, use the words shorter and shortest to describe two different worms above. Okay, so if I wanted to use the word shorter and shortest, I could describe two different worms above using those words. Okay, so if I looked at the red worm and the blue worm, okay, I could say that the blue worm is shorter than the yellow worm. The red worm is the shortest. Okay, I could also say if the blue worm is shorter, the red worm is shortest. Okay, all right, so on your guided practice, you're going to draw lines to show which object is longest and which is shortest. So they're giving you three objects this time. You're only choosing two answers. Okay, so you should have one object that does not have a line drawn to it. Okay, so if we look at number one, I'm not really sure what those things are in the picture, but it's something pink or blue, pink, and purple. I really don't know what that is a picture of, but that's okay. We don't need to know that to solve it. Okay, so if I want to draw a line to the item that's the longest, I can see this pink one sticks out. They're all there. This is one important thing with measuring. Everything needs to be lined up even on one end. And if you look at the end, whatever those things are, they're all lined up. If you look at the end of these paintbrushes, they're all lined up. Even our worms are lined up back here. You can't measure something if you don't have the same starting point, okay? Or compare, I should say, not measure. So we're going to draw a line from the longest to the pink one because it's the longer. You can see the blue one doesn't come out as far and the purple one doesn't even come out as far as the blue. So the pink one would be the longest and the purple one would be the shortest. Okay, you'll go back in just a minute after you listen to me explain the directions, or pause the video, solve this one, and before you go on and do the next, have your parents check it. Okay, so you're going to find the longest paintbrush and the shortest paintbrush. Now, when you are drawing your lines, I need to make sure that you draw, or I need you to make sure that you draw your lines dark enough for me to see. Sometimes when you guys take your pictures, if you write really, really lightly, I have to zoom in a whole lot to be able to see it, and sometimes it's very hard to see your answers. So make sure that you draw your lines dark enough for me to see, but I don't want you to use a marker or a crayon. I'd rather you use a pencil, and that way you can erase it if you make a mistake, okay? But just make sure they're dark enough that I can see them. And just a straight line. Please do not do squiggles. I don't, if you do squiggles at school, I usually give you your paper back and ask you to redo it because I don't want to have to trace your line around to figure out where it's going. Okay, so just simple straight lines would be very helpful. Okay, let's look on the back side. You're going to draw lines to show which object is the longest and which is the shortest. Again, you have three choices. You're only drawing lines to two of them because you want to find the longest one and the shortest one. Same thing on number 4. Okay, then this time it says on number 5, it says use the clues about length to color the crayon. So you're going to need an orange crayon, a blue crayon, and a green crayon to do this, okay? So it gives you some clues. It says the shortest crayon is orange, so you'll find the shortest of those 3 over there, color it orange. The blue crayon is longer than the green crayon, so you should have one colored orange already. You should have 2 left. It says the blue crayon is longer than the green crayon. So you're going to have to decide which one do I color blue and which one do I color green. And on today's math, you will be uploading a picture of this because there's only 3 questions there. And this is super, super easy. And you will be uploading a picture of the backside to show your work on the backside, okay? And it says simply to solve the problems. So number 6, they want you to be precise. That means we're very careful and very accurate with what we're doing. It says, Tomas paints a line that is longer than the blue line. What color line did he paint? Use the pictures to solve. Okay, so your answer is going to be a color word. It's either going to be blue, orange, or red. Okay. Number 7, again, they want you to be precise. They're looking for the exact answer. Oh, now we know what these are because it tells us right here. Amber's piece of chalk is shorter than the blue piece. What color is Amber's chalk? Use the pictures to solve. So again, you're going to write a color word. It's either pink, blue, or purple. And I bet you could use your markers or your crayons to find out how to spell those words if you wanted to. Number 8 says higher order thinking. It says draw 3 lines with different lengths in order from longest to shortest. Label the longest and the shortest lines. That means you're going to need to have all of your lines start at the same point. You draw 3 lines that are different lengths, and then you really should be able to label and spell correctly because the word longest and shortest is in your question and it's all over this paper. Okay. And then number 9, which best describes the pens? A, the blue pen is longest. B, the red pen is longest. C, the green pen is longest. D, the blue pen is shortest. Okay. All right, take your time, read carefully. I know it's easy. Sometimes when something seems pretty easy, we kind of rush and we make some mistakes that we shouldn't make. We call those careless mistakes, so be careful. Do not make careless mistakes and have fun. Thank you. Bye.